Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. Irom Sharmila to end 16-year fast and join politics. Thai police arrest torture victims' knees for demanding justice. Dalits protest discrimination by leaving dead cows on Gujarat streets. Indonesian villagers fight claim to their land by Air Force. Police illegally order transgender community to leave Pakistan district. Urgent appeals from India, Philippines. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I am Julia Roblondo. This week, Just Asia begins with a surprising decision of Indian activist Irom Sharmila to end her 16-year fast and join politics. Sharmila, known as the Iron Lady of Manipur, has been spearheading the state's struggle to repeal the Armed Forces Special Powers Act since the Assam Rifles massacred 10 civilians in November 2000. The controversial law gives the armed forces powers to arrest without warrants and shoot to kill in certain situations. Sharmila's sudden decision to end this fast has shocked everyone, including her family and fellow activists. Her plan to end her fast on August 9th and fight next year's Assembly's elections in Manipur as an independent candidate only came to light after she spoke to the media on Tuesday. Sharmila explained her decision by saying, "The government has not been listening to our voices and has been suppressing our movement." While certain pressure groups are worried that Sharmila's decision will adversely affect the movement against AFSPA, other sectors have expressed their support. Vice President and spokesperson of the State Congress Committee, N. Biren, welcomed Sharmila's decision. "If the fasting hasn't helped, maybe this will. Maybe as a political leader, she will be able to meet leaders at the center and convince them to repel AFSPA," Biren said. Just Asia caught up with Babloo Loitongbam, Director of Human Rights Alert and longtime friend of Irom Sharmila, for his views.
Irom Sharmila Janu have announced yesterday that she would call off her hunger strike on 9th of August 2016. This is almost after 16 years of hunger strike. When we first heard it, we were a bit surprised because she had been consistently pursuing the struggle and had been saying that she would not leave the fast until Armed Forces Special Powers Act is repealed. But on second thoughts, one can quite understand where she is coming from. If the government have failed to repeal UPSFA in 16 years, there's no guarantee that they will be doing so in 16th year or 17th year, or for that matter the 20th year. So now it is quite clear that Sharmila wants to change the turf on which she fights against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and she had made it clear that she wants to enter politics. She wants to stand as the independent candidate in the forthcoming election in Manipur. We will have to look and see how what exactly is in her mind and what is her strategy in this making this announcement. She will be out on the 9th of August. We are trying to get in touch with her, and today morning we tried to go and meet her in front of the Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Science, where she is detained, and every morning she is given 15 minutes to come out of the hospital and meditate in a garden. But unfortunately today when we entered the garden, the police have come and taken her back, so we could not have a proper conversation. But she is very keen to know how the people are responding to this, and she is also very keen that she need to change her strategy, because it is clear that 16 years is long enough for the government to take action, and now that they have not taken action, she wants to change the mode of our struggle. As for the struggle against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, the struggle was there before Irom Sharmila entered and led this struggle. It will be there even if Sharmila retires from this struggle. So long as the injustice against the ordinary people by the Armed Forces Special Powers Act continues, the struggle will continue. Irom Sharmila has made a mark for being the longest hunger striker and the person who have made highest personal sacrifice for this struggle. So she has become a kind of an icon. But even if Sharmila retires from this struggle, so long as the injustice that is committed under this act continues, so long as people are killed, people disappear, people are tortured, and the impunity enjoyed by the security forces remains, the struggle against Armed Forces Special Powers Act will continue. It is a struggle for justice.
Moving to Thailand, police arrested Ms. Naritsarawan Kaewnopparat, niece of torture victim Mr. Wichian Puaksom, from her Bangkok workplace on July 26th for defaming the Thai military and violating the Computer Crime Act. Ms. Naritsarawan had posted information online about the torture of her late uncle in February 2016 and demanded that the perpetrators be persecuted. Mr. Wichian Puaksom was a military conscript who was tortured to death by fellow soldiers in 2011, after he was accused of running away from military training. According to the military investigation, a number of soldiers, at the request of Second Lieutenant Malai Hom on 1st of June 2011, stripped Mr. Wichian down to his underwear and dragged him over a rough cement surface before repeatedly kicking and beating him for several hours. The soldiers further applied salt to Wichian's wounds, wrapped his body in a white sheet, read the funeral rites, and then engaged in another round of beating. Wichian died from his injuries 4 days later on June 5th. After suing the Ministry of Defense, the Royal Thai Army, and the Prime Minister's Office for malfeasance, Mr. Wichian's family was given 7 million baht in compensation in February 2014. Although Sub-Lieutenant and the other 9 soldiers received military disciplinary punishment of 30 or fewer days in detention, none of them were ever prosecuted for criminal offenses. Thailand has no law criminalizing torture, and authorities are quick to retaliate against those speaking out about torture, such as the 3 human rights defenders charged for their work detailing torture in southern Thailand, reported last week.
I was accused by individuals, not the Thai Royal Army. He submitted a complaint to Naritsarawan Muang police station for criminal defamations. Hence, I have to travel to Naritsarawan province to present myself to the investigator. I did not receive any summon order from the authorities before the arrest. However, I'm very pleased to cooperate with the police because I believe that I didn't do anything wrong. I have presented the fact of my uncle's case, which is related to the justice system. Therefore, I'm ready to fight for justice.
ทุกท่านทุกองค์กรนะครับที่ให้กับพวกเราอย่างล้นหลาม
Really appreciate it. Everyone knows that we didn't publish the report for own benefit, but we are human rights defenders who work with the human rights organization. Hence, our duties are to attempt to echo the victims' voice to the public, especially of the torture victims. Most of them live under pressure and cannot call for justice or rehabilitation. From my 10 years experience, if they try to complain to police, then security officers may treat them like targets. Actually, when we human rights organizations try to present their problems to the authorities, it should be helpful for them.
ดังนั้นการที่มีกลุ่มองค์กรต่างๆเนี่ยและด้านสื่อมวลชนรวมทั้งพวกเราด้วยเนี่ยนะครับมาสะท้อนข้อมูลความเป็นจริงนะครับปัญหาของพวกเขาที่ประสบอยู่เนี่ยให้กับทางหน่วยงานราชการและก็ในสังคมที่รับทราบเนี่ยนะครับก็น่าจะเป็นการช่วยเหลือทางราชการโดยซ้ำไปคือเราก็ยังไม่ทราบเจตนา
Actually, we don't know their real intent. I mean, the ISOC Region 4. Some organizations or individuals state that the ISOC Region 4 uses defamation charge and the Computer Crimes Act BE 2550 2007 as tools to stop our work and to silence our victims. In my opinion, I believe that without justice, there will always be a struggle for justice.
คิดว่าตราบใดที่ความยุติธรรมยังไม่เกิดขึ้นเนี่ยนะครับก็คงไม่สามารถจะห้ามมิให้คนต่อสู้เพื่อความยุติธรรมได้นะครับ
Next, Dalits in Gujarat, India are protesting caste discrimination and violence in a unique way. They are leaving dead cows to rot on the streets and in front of government offices. The protest, set to escalate and spread throughout the country, was sparked by an attack on a group of Dalits who were skinning dead cattle by cow protection vigilantes on July 11th. The Dalits were stripped, tied to a car, and beaten for 4 hours, accused for indulging in cow slaughter. The victims were members of the Chama'ar caste that are traditionally employed to dispose of animal carcasses by using their skin and other parts for commercial purposes. The police were informed and approached for help, but they failed to act, once again showing that the most vulnerable members of the Indian society do not have access to protection. One of the assailants even brazenly uploaded a video of the attack. The incident resulted in widespread and unified protest by the Dalit community in Gujarat. 17 Dalits even attempted suicide. 3 of the attackers have since been arrested. In Indonesia, a recent peaceful protest against the Air Force in Bogor Regency saw the arrest of 11 villagers. Their mobile phones were also seized. Although they were finally released from custody, the arrest and violence has been traumatic for the Sukamulya villagers' Rumpin sub-district. Over the last 9 years, the villagers have consistently fought against terror intimidation and violence conducted by the Indonesian Air Force, which is claiming 1,070 hectares of their land. Despite having no land certificate, the Air Force insists that the land belongs to them and should be used for military purposes. Supported by human rights groups, including Asian Human Rights Commission, the villagers are strengthening their advocacy capacity. Organized under the Paguyuban Rumpin, the villagers recently took part in a discussion and capacity building program by the AHRC, focusing on how to make use of national and international mechanisms to support their advocacy and file complaints. Over the past 3 months, Paguyuban Rumpin have conducted a formal lobby to the local parliament and presidential committee to ensure that the residents have stronger evidence than the Air Force. The Paguyuban Rumpin also called for the Air Force and the police to stop any violence, terror, and intimidation against the villagers. To learn more, Just Asia speaks to Mr. Junaidi Adi Putra, a Rumpin human rights defender.
Paguyuban masyarakat Rumpin juga mengecam daripada tindak kekerasan yang dilakukan oleh aparat, polisian, TNI yang memang di Rumpin pun tidak lepas dari upaya-upaya kekerasan yang dilakukan oleh aparat selama ini. Dan masyarakat pun, masyarakat Desa Sukamulya pun, khususnya masyarakat Rumpin mengecam daripada kekerasan yang dilakukan oleh aparat kepolisian. Kita bersatu, berpadu untuk melakukan upaya perlawanan dengan melakukan upaya konsolidasi, musyawarah, dan diskusi pada hari ini. Diharapkan acara hari ini bisa menyatukan satu pandangan kita, pikiran kita agar perkembangan kasus Rumpin yang selama ini sudah 10 tahun bisa diselesaikan secara bersama-sama dengan kelompok tani, buruh, mahasiswa, dan kaum-kaum yang lainnya yang memang selama ini mendapatkan intimidasi dari institusi TNI yang memang mengklaim daripada tanah 1.000 hektar yang ada di Desa Sukamulya. Dan kami juga berharap pada semua aliansi LSM yang ada di Indonesia, kita harus bersatu padu untuk menghentikan daripada upaya kekerasan yang ada di Desa Sukamulya maupun di seluruh Indonesia yang ada sekarang.
In Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, police have ordered the externment of Nowshera district's transgender community for an indefinite period. This will affect more than 1,100 transgender individuals. Nowshera's district police officer on July 16th illegally issued the order of kicking out the transgender community after police officials of the city police station sexually abused transgender individuals in illegal detention on July 14th. The Human Rights Directorate of the province, having the power of a court, started an inquiry into the incident immediately after a complaint made by the victims. In response, the police chief promptly ordered the community to leave the district without any legal authority. Only the district's deputy commissioner has the legal power to remove anyone from the province. The district police officer has also distributed leaflets throughout the district asking people not to give their houses on rent to transgenders, inform the police about their residents, and kick them out from their houses. The district police officer is a graduate from an infamous Islamic seminary, Madrasah Haqqaniyah, known from providing militant training to Taliban militants and their leadership. The seminary teaches holy war for the establishment of a Taliban government in Pakistan. Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features 2 cases from India and the Philippines. In West Bengal, India, 11 farmers have been seriously injured and hospitalized after an attack by approximately 25 Border Security Force personnel on May 24th. In the Philippines, Lumad villagers in Lagonglong, Misamis Oriental decided to flee their homes due to the presence of the 58th Infantry Battalion. The villagers fear harassment in the conflict between the military and the rebels. Often, villagers are accused of being rebels. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on these and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.